皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So today everyone, what I'm going to be talking about is nothing educational at all. It's just going to be me as an otaku going to be talking about my favorite anime. Recently, when I do my morning Instagram live streams, there's so many people asking me, like, do you watch any anime? Do you, like, read any manga or play any video games and such? And to be very honest, recently, I hardly have the time to actually watch new anime or read manga and such. I always do keep myself updated with One Piece, and I think that's the only thing I do. I always buy the newest manga for One Piece, but anime, I was actually watching My Hero Academia till season 5, is it? Season 6 is a new one, isn't it? Yeah. I was watching till season 5 or something, or 4 maybe. But I haven't watched from there. And so currently I haven't been watching anything. But there was a period in my life where I was like completely addicted to it, to anime and manga. And I actually have a lot of favorites. But today I wanted to present my 3 most favorite anime characters to do. Yeah, so please don't expect this to get any more, which is entertaining from here. This is just going to be me talking about them, okay? So then let's start from number 3. Number 3 is actually from Assassination Classroom, the teacher, Koro Sensei. I don't know how you call him in English, but in Japanese it's called Koro Sensei, the teacher, the octopus teacher. Yeah. The reason why I love him is because the whole story. I just love Assassination Classroom so much. Especially because, I have kids now and they really seriously think about education. And even though the story setting is completely fiction and unrealistic, how there is no octopus, living creature that can move at like such a speed, right? If you know Assassination Classroom, it's impossible, yeah. But the Koro Sensei's, his love and his care and his respect towards the children, the students, and how the students gradually start to change their struggles, the traumas they have. But Koro Sensei never gives up on them. And he keeps on dedicating his time, his everything to them. And the changes that happens among the kids are just so, what should I say? So it's so loving to watch, lovely to watch. And I really, really, really want such a teacher to appear for my kids too. Yeah. And it's really funny how in Japanese schools, I sometimes go to training areas at Japanese schools, sometimes we rent, like the gym rooms, I guess, for training sometimes, and then I would use the bathroom, which would usually be used by the teachers, and sometimes on the wall there are some of the quotes from Assassination Classroom, because the actual teachers in Japan are seriously moved by his actions and words in the stories. So I just really, really love Koro Sensei so much. And the best part I love about Assassination Classroom, there's so many parts that I love. Each episode I cherish so much, but the end, out of all the anime and manga I've ever seen or read in my whole life, the ending of Assassination Classroom is the best. I don't remember how much I cried in happiness because of the ending. It is so touching. Now, just in case you haven't read Assassination Classroom before, I will not talk about how it's touching. Yes, on purpose. But if you have read it before, I think you'd probably understand how beautifully it ended. There are a lot of manga that's been postponed and extended on, what should I say, even though the author didn't want to do so. Sometimes it's been extended by Jump, the company, because they wanted to make more profit out of it. And then the ending kind of collapses and ends sometimes, just falls down and ends. And sometimes the ending is very, very weird, and not very satisfying, basically. But Assassination Classroom, out of everything I've read before, seen before, it is the best. Highly, highly, highly recommended. I just was stunned when it ended. I just love how it ended. When you read a lot of read a lot of manga or watch a lot of anime, when it ends, you have that very lonely feeling, right? But for Assassination Classroom, I was just so satisfied and happy. And just imagining what would happen after that brought me so much happiness. So number 3. This is still number 3, by the way. But I just seriously love Assassination Classroom. And then number 2 is actually Naruto. But not Naruto. I love Itachi so much. Itachi is definitely my hero. Now, for those of you who know Naruto and Itachi, you would probably completely agree with me. But basically, for those of you who don't know about Itachi, just in case, Itachi is basically a super, super strong character in the story. And Naruto, the main character, has a rival, basically his best friend, but he turns evil, and the whole story is basically about Naruto trying to save his best friend Sasuke. But Itachi is actually the older brother of him. Itachi is the older brother of Sasuke. And Itachi, number 1, he is super, super strong. He is like the most talented shinobi ninja that exists in the whole story, but he also has his special skills of his eyes, actually. There's a lot of eyeball related jutsus and skills in Naruto, but Itachi also has one of the best eyes called Sharingan, and he is just simply so talented. Like in the settings, he like became one of the spies, a high-ranking assassins when he was 10 years old, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. But he was super, super young when he joined that team. And in the end, he actually kills all of the people in his clan. Yeah, because they were trying to start a terrorism act, right? Yeah. And he killed his own parents, his whole friends and family, except for his younger brother, because he loved him so much. But he forced Sasuke, his younger brother, to hate him. And he acted as a evil person, even though he was the one who saved the village. And he dedicated everything that he had to saving his village, but he lived and died as a villain. And even though he was a villain, every time he talks in all the stories, every time he talks, his humbleness, you can really feel his humbleness. When you guys might know the fighting scene between Kakashi and also Kurenai and Asuma, he says to Kisame, which was his partner after he became a villain, Itachi says to his partner that, no, don't underestimate these people. These people are the Jonin, the higher ranking ninjas of Konoha village. Yeah, you really should not underestimate them. His humbleness really is so awesome too. This is really a really detailed part, yeah. But from there, how strong he is, how smart he is, in the end, he actually has a sickness, a disease that he can't cure. So he has a fight with Sasuke because Sasuke truly believes that his older brother was a villain and he turned evil, and that's the reason why he killed everyone, but that's not true. And in the end, Itachi knew that a very bad, another villain called Orochimaru was actually inside Sasuke, was trying to take over his body. And because he knew that, he forcibly took out Orochimaru from his body, and he actually ended his own life. And by by Sasuke knowing that his older brother was actually a good person, he actually got the stronger eye skills, Sharingan actually, and everything. And he also believed in Naruto, that Naruto has the power to help his younger brother because he can't, because he has a sickness. So he trusted Naruto. He gave everything, all of his luck to him. Yep. And just all of this, what should I say? How smart he is and how his plan is just so amazingly done and laid out. Everything that Sasuke was doing, was prepared by Itachi, and he was just an amazing character out of Naruto. Everything that Naruto was doing, Sasuke was doing, was within Itachi's plan. Yeah. But still, he himself was such a modest person, and he put his whole life to helping others, helping the village, and he even had to end his own life of his parents as he cried. And I don't know if this should be said good or bad, but Itachi, the way he lived is definitely the way of Bushido. Definitely the way of Bushido. So much dedication, so much humbleness, but strength. And that is Bushido. Even though he's a ninja, it's definitely the way he lived is really close to Bushido. Maybe even to Nindo too, actually. So that's the reason why I love Itachi so much. But Number one is yet to come. Number one is actually Ginseng from Gintama. I think out of the three manga I just talked about, maybe Gintama is the least popular outside of Japan, because I think all the funny parts, the comedy parts, are really hard to understand if you don't know about celebrities in Japan and so on and so forth. Yeah, but anyways, basically a lot of people who don't know Gintama thinks that Gintama is a comedy show, and it is. That's the great part. It's super funny. It's the funniest manga anime that I've ever watched in my life, and I'm very sure, I'm confident that Gintama will forever be the funniest manga and anime in my whole life. Period. Right there. Yeah. But the great part about Gintama is that it's not just a comedy anime and manga. The great part about Gintama is that it also has a lot of serious scenes. Yep. And it actually gives you so many powerful words that actually help me to live through my life. Yeah. Ginseng is actually a super strong samurai in the story. And he actually lost in the battle of the Civil War in Japan in the 19th century when Japan westernized. It's really close to the real history. Yeah, and there was actually aliens in the story Gintama, and not people from the US like in real history. Yeah, but Ginseng actually fought to protect his sensei. Yeah, and he actually loses, and his sensei gets killed. And that part is like the really serious part, And even though he's a very what should I say, lazy person, he goes gambling, he loses, and he gets all naked because he just the people takes away everything. He never has money. He's always poor, and he is always drunk, And he's just really you would never see him as a good person most of the time. But the thing I love about Ginseng so much is that when he needs to fight, when he needs to protect something, when he needs to protect his pride, his Bushido that he believes in, he fights for it. He never runs. He always fights for what he believes is right. And that is Bushido. Now, when you think Bushido was something that made the samurais perfect, that's impossible. No one is perfect. No one can be a model kind of person, right? We all have some parts of us that are lazy, some parts that were not good, some, things that might make other people uncomfortable, for example. We're all like that. Humans are all like that, right? Yeah. But Ginseng teaches us that you can be that sloppy person. You can be that lazy person, but always fight for the things that you need to protect. What you chose, what your Bushido is. If you chose that as what you think is important, what your pride is, where your honor is, you fight for it. No matter what happens. Everything else, you can be a lazy person. Go ahead and sleep all day during weekends or whatever it is, You can play on video games all day like I did when I was in high school. But when the time comes, they have to fight for the things, that you have chosen to protect. You fight for it, no matter what. You don't run, And that message that Ginseng has taught me through the whole story has literally changed my life. It helped me to get rid of I need to be a perfect person kind of mindset. It helped me, to give me the courage to always fight for things that I really needed to protect and I thought was important. That might be my wife, that might be my kids, that might be my team, that might be my the business that I'm doing, the principles of my life, yeah. And Ginseng just literally changed my life so much, yeah. All right. Then everyone, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast, by the way. So number 3 was Assassination Classroom. Number 2 was Naruto and Itachi, by the way, the character. And also number 1 was Gintama and Ginseng. So then everyone, as I always say, the ultimate dream of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know that a lot of Japanese I always say this wrong. So there's a lot of people who are studying Japanese, who are willing to travel, study, and work in Japan, and also there are a lot of people who are willing to train in our traditional culture and such. Maybe it was because of anime and manga and such, right? Yep. But I am very afraid that Japan is not going to be able to make everyone's dreams come true in the future, because we are facing a lot of social problems, we are losing our traditional culture, and the younger generations who are supposed to carry on Japan are dying because of all the social issues being shoved against them. You might know that the anime industry is actually having a lot of problems too. The people who are working in them are being underpaid and being suffering from these kind of environments. That's another social problem too, right? Yep. If we want to carry on the manga and anime culture, we're struggling a lot with that. So I really want to dedicate my whole life to try to make Japan a better place. I want to help to solve the social problems, help preserve and evolve traditional culture, and also help out the younger generations too, so they can have a brighter future. And to do that, my first step is to achieve 1 million subscribers by January 2023. So your help would mean a lot. All your likes and comments will help to boost my videos to new viewers who have never seen my videos yet, so it'd be great if you could help me out. Okay, then everyone, I'll be waiting for your comments. Please let me know which one is your favorite anime and manga. Thank you so much for listening to a very personal story. Thank you so much, guys.